Hi guys, I'm Troy Schuyler and I'm a licensed real estate broker in Oregon. And this video is done for those of you who are maybe thinking about selling a house in the near future, but you're just not quite at the point that you want to talk with a real estate broker yet. But before I begin, it's important that you understand that if I was there in your home with you right now, I'd be asking you a series of questions to kind of help me gauge what your real estate needs or problems might be. And I'd also be able to offer suggestions that I think might be able to help you. And in turn, you could ask me questions as well, obviously. This video is just a snapshot into my marketing plan, how I work, and how I'm different than a lot of other real estate agents that you might interview for the job of selling your home. So what does it take to sell a home? Boy, is that the question of the day or what? We probably get this question more now than ever in this market, and it's really causing a lot of problems for a lot of folks, putting their home on the market and it failing to sell. But I'm confident that if you watch this full presentation, that you're going to agree that I have the right solutions from the right marketing plan to meet your real estate needs and goals, whatever they might be. So let's dive right in. Step number one to getting your home sold in this market is setting a compelling listing price. Now, you notice that I didn't say setting a competitive listing price, and there's a reason for that. With the number of short sales and foreclosures and distressed properties on the market, it's really caused home sellers to be more than competitive if they want to sell. And what I mean by compelling is this. We want to make your home irresistible to a buyer when they walk over the threshold into your home. In other words, we want it to be extremely difficult for that buyer to leave your home and not be ready to make an offer. Now, as an owner, as a seller, it's important for you guys to understand how to effectively price your home. You see, if your home is priced too low, you're sure to lose money, aren't you? That's a no-brainer. Nobody wants to lose money. But equally as important, if you don't price your home effectively and correctly, then you may not get any offers at all, and your home just sits and sits and sits, and it just doesn't sell. And that can be frustrating. So step number two that you want to think about is financing. And you might be thinking to yourself right now when I said that, wait a minute, that's the buyer's deal, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is for the most part. But did you know that there are literally dozens of loan alternatives and loan programs for today's home buyers out there? Now, why do I say that? As a real estate professional, I stay up to date on all the latest loan programs and trends and things that are being made available to today's home buyers to make it easier to sell these homes. Why is that important for us to know? Well, it's just a simple fact that homes plain old sell faster when the seller's agent, that would be me, knows about the different loan programs and knows how to explain those programs to the potential home buyer. Because the fact is, a home buyer can really easily get overwhelmed with the whole process and just throw their hands up in the air and say, forget it, or they may mistakenly think they just wouldn't qualify anyway. And so it's important for us to be able to walk through that with them and explain these different things to them to hold on to that buyer. Now, another part of being a real estate professional, not just a real estate agent, is my job to screen those buyers before we bring them out to take a look at your home. Now, I think you'll probably appreciate this fact. It's going to do two things for you. It's going to save you the inconvenience of picking up your house and getting it ready to show to a buyer who can't buy your house anyway. It's just a waste of time. And it's also going to kind of help us to protect you from having a sale fail at the 12th hour because your buyer can't get the loan. So those are two benefits there of pre-screening buyers before we bring them out. Another thing you might want to think about as a home seller, if you're one who is financially set and you really don't have a need for the proceeds at close of escrow, maybe you own your house free and clear, you might want to think about carrying back part or maybe even most of the purchase price with a down payment, of course, to open up your home to even more potential buyers. Now, of course, this option requires us to be a little bit more stringent and to look into the buyer's credit history and employment situation and things like that. Make sure you get a good buyer that's not going to default on you, but it can be a very, very good option for those home sellers who are financially set up. Step number three, I think, my personal opinion, is it's the second most important thing to consider when you're selling a house, and it's also probably one of the most overlooked by sellers and even sellers agents most of the time, and that is dressing your home to sell. And what I mean by that is, you'd probably agree that it doesn't really matter how nice the inside of your home is if you can't get the buyer out of the car to walk through the gate and come into your front door because of some usually simple and correctable problem on the outside of the house, like maybe a cracked sidewalk or a gate that needs to be painted, or moss on the roof, or something like that, similar to that, unkept lawn or something. And it's a shame when that happens. We call it curb appeal. And it's probably one of the most common reasons why a home fails to sell. So it's very important to consider curb appeal, because if you can't sell the buyer on the outside of the house, it doesn't matter how nice the inside is, you're not going to get them to walk through the door. Now, exposing your home to the largest number of buyers, you'd probably agree, is going to give you the best chance of selling in the shortest time frame possible. And for doing this, it takes more to sell a house than just pounding a sign in the yard, putting a flyer box on it, putting an ad in the paper, putting it in the local real estate books, and then letting the listing auto-populate into all the websites that are out there, like Trulia and Zillow and all the others that 99% of the agents use. And there's nothing wrong with that. We should be doing that. But in addition to that, I'll just kind of fast forward here a little bit to marketing for today's home buyer, because there's a different technique and there's a different mentality to capture these people. Because did you know that 80+% of the home buyers today are shopping online, they're starting their search online, and many of them are from out of town. And the fact is, some of those older techniques, even though some of them are online, are ineffective, and there's a reason for that. It's because when you learn how to grab a hold of these, doesn't it just make sense, knowing that 80% of the buyers are starting their search online, to learn how to find out what they're searching for? I mean, if we knew what buyers were searching for, wouldn't that be a real asset to us on the selling side? Well, the fact is, I do know how to do that through internet marketing. And we can grab a hold of what those buyers are looking for, and we can provide the solution to them, which very well might be your house. And it's kind of like stepping in front of traffic. You see, not to get too technical here or anything like that, but it's important for you to understand, since 1994, my past has been in marketing and real estate, and it still is today. But I chose to hire a private mentor and trainer to teach me how to harness that power of the internet, because the opportunities online are truly incredible. And once I learned how to do these things that I'm talking about and marry those to my real estate marketing plan, I don't think there's another agent in town that does these same techniques. I know there's not, as a matter of fact. So as an asset to my sellers, I show them how I can take their listing online in an effective way to set it in front of the buyers that are looking for that type of property. So if you are kind of looking for this type of agent, this type of service, please don't think that your house just isn't nice enough to get this kind of service. This is what I provide for both low and upper end clients. So I'm here to help everybody, not just a select few. So please feel free to call me, and I'll come out and take a look at your place, and we'll get you going. We'll get your home sold in the fastest time frame possible. One more thing I want to talk about before I let you go, and that is my commitment to service. In other words, in writing, I put down that I promise you, my home selling client, that I will perform all the traditional marketing techniques that you could expect from any top producing real estate broker. In addition to those, though, you'll get my online marketing strategies and techniques as well. And if for any reason you're unhappy with my service anytime through the listing contract, and I'm unable to correct the problem to your satisfaction, within 10 days, I'll just let you out of the contract. So if that's the kind of person that you want to deal with, then that's the kind of agent I am. If that's the kind of service you're looking for, that's the kind of service I provide. So why don't you go ahead, fill out your information over here to the right of your screen. I'd be happy to get back with you very, very quickly. If you want to talk about in more detail what the online marketing techniques and strategies are that I use, give me your information over here. I'm not going to hard sell you, and I'd be happy to sit down and chat. Thanks, and whatever you do, I wish you luck.